Hi guys, it's Keith of Arkenberg Farms here. And since have my tilther torn apart here, just wanted to take a second to show you how I made it. This is the basics of the tilther I made. I've got the little mini tiller itself. It's just a little Craftsman mini tiller. It's about 12, 14 inches across. 4 cycles, so no mix. Got the power assist start on it, which is really nice. And then a cowl I constructed around it. It just consists of some side pieces to actually hold it together, keep the dirt in, a back bar that holds it together, and a roller that I just made out of PVC pipe, and a couple little brackets I had laying around. Now the reason I opted to actually produce this mini tiller that I turned into the tilther was because a tilther is extremely expensive. Last time I checked, they were up around, I think, $600, but that doesn't even include the drill that runs it. Now this little tiller here, in its original form, I spent $200 from years ago. Great. Doesn't go that deep at all. I mean, the whole entire tines are only maybe 8 inches across, so it's got 4-inch depth at most. Easy to start, easy to run. Let me show you some more details on the cowl itself. So here is the cowl I created. Just nice, simple, square shape, tapers down at the back. The taper spot right here is where the tiller itself actually hooks into with the bolts that are right here. I chose that originally because that's about the angle the tiller was at with this back wheel on, which I've removed. But to start with, I took my tiller body and I built a cardboard template around it to get the sides figured out, then connected across the back with another piece. So I basically had a cardboard box stuck around it to start with. From there, it allowed me to get my measurements right to make the side pieces. Each of these side pieces are independent pieces. Just got some scrap metal. They've got some tabs on them that I folded over. And then down the back, I just folded that back around. For the sides, or the skids on it, I just took the metal and it goes around and comes back up. Just bend it around there. In the bottom, there's a couple screws actually securing it on. Easiest way to bend sheet metal after you have it cut is where you want your bend at. You clamp 2 2x4s on both sides right at the bend, and then you take a hammer and just beat it over, and it'll make a nice subtle bend for you. Now after I had both sides completed, I went and added a 1x3 across the back. It screws in from the sides. There's 2 screws in from the side, hold it together. And added another little piece of metal back here, which depends on your height of the back of your tilther or tiller, so it doesn't kick dirt out the back all over the place. From there, I mounted it onto the tiller which I'll show you now. Now, you can see how it kind of fits in there. So originally with my template, I just had a box wrapped around it. I added some little wings on the bottom to determine my depth. Then I added the front onto it with another piece of cardboard, so I had my actual template for the side. To mount it, just drilled 2 holes through the top originally, and then brought a bolt up from the bottom that I can put a nut on to secure it to the tilther, to the tiller itself. That way, if I want to remove it and actually use it as a tiller, I'm just going to remove these 4 bolts around on all sides, put the handlebars back on it, grab my control list up on the bars I made, put the wheel back on the back where it goes, and I have a tiller again. So from this point in the build of it, remember I already had the sides made, bottom runner, and a back plate to tie it together. I added my handlebars. Now since this was originally meant to go this way and it pulled itself along because the way it turned, since now I'm not letting it go down a full depth, it doesn't want to pull itself anymore. To fix that problem, I had to add handlebars so now I can drag it instead of stand behind it and let it go along. For that, just flatten the end of a piece of 1/2 inch conduit, bent it up a little, screwed it to the base, came up a little ways on it, got a U-bolt that I drilled 2 holes through and screwed it to the inside. Get you around there. There we are. You can see the 2 bolts and the rest of the stirrup on the inside. Double nutted those because they kept coming loose on me. Then I cut off the excess. From there, just brought both pieces of conduit up and bent it off to the side a little bit. So I brought this one and bent up and bent it over to the side. Same thing over here. That way, when I'm running it, I don't have to walk on my bed. I'll be standing over here, which I'll show you here in a little bit. So I have a handlebar there to hold on to, a handlebar there, and then I took the throttle control from the old handlebars, which was only connected on with 1 screw, drilled a hole through and mounted it up here, so I have throttle control up top now. Then for the back, I decided to add a roller because originally I just had a solid skid plate out, so these actually went out to about here and then had a piece of metal on the bottom. That made dragging it much more difficult. So I found a couple pieces of scrap laying around with pre-drilled holes. Used a piece of, it's 3.5, maybe 4-inch PVC. Got some end caps and a piece of thread awl. Put a washer, double nutted it to keep them in place. Another washer out here, and double nut it to keep in place. Since I'm working on it, I'm going to go ahead and cut these little extra nubs off because I found I actually run into those occasionally. Also, it wasn't going deep enough. So now you can see back here, originally this laid right down flat on the body. Now where my bolts come up through that I put 2 nuts on. And the only reason I did that is to give me about an extra inch of height. That way when I'm done, this thing should be deeper into the ground. Yeah, see? Now my blades are coming down about 1.5 inches. That's about where I want them. Before they were only coming down barely 1 inch. But I want to get a little bit more tilth into my beds. And the only adjustment I have are these bolts. If I want to move it down a little further, I'll put another nut on top. That way this will move this cowl up further on the body of the tiller and the tiller will go deeper. Now I've got it all back together. Since my original build A couple things I've had to do is I added this piece of sheet metal on the front of it, just a screw here and back over on the other side, and all this does is just kind of gives it rigidity this direction. Underneath it, my back plate here, so you can see I've cut out about, it's about an inch notch all the way across. That lets the soil come out better so it doesn't build up back behind here as badly. But overall, there we are. You can see if I just hold a stick across both sides, that's about the depth I'm getting, which is right about an inch. I'll take it over the field, show you how it works. Now what I've found is that it takes about 4 passes to get a good clean bed. The reason is, when I come down, I'm out here and over here by the center. The problem is here in the middle there's a separation in my tiller where the drive shaft is, so it doesn't get this little section right through here. So to fix that, my second pass, I run first one there, second pass will be right about here, and that way it incorporates everything in the bed. Get a nice good tilth on it, so you can see down about 2 inches. Nice fine top of the seed bed. Only thing I'll have to do afterwards is come back through with my landscape rake, flatten it out. Well, I hope you all like what you saw here today. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. And don't forget to come out and see me at the Mother Earth News Fair this year too. I'll be in Tennessee, Polyvase, and Pennsylvania. Then also whatever the other date is local around me. Don't forget to use the link in the description down below. It's also got a coupon code there for you. So thank y'all. Have a good day.